You're listening to the John and Heidi Show, now featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris, brought to you in part by the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles promotion we're doing right here on Sunny Radio.
That's my favorite promotion
It has
ever,
been a lot
by
of
the
fun.
way.
Dan was out as my Neil sidekick a little bit the other day, and then Heidi was out as my Neil sidekick a little bit the other day. But I get to be Del Griffith the whole doggone time because I don't think I would trust anybody else driving that car. It's
It's a little persnickety.
It is a little.
We got to take it back into our fellas.
Well, again, what do you want for $400?
Exactly. I squealed the tires with it, though, because
Tires are good.
It died, and then I fired it up, and I hit the gas, and I pulled it into gear, and I just screeched the tires as we took off.
Like when we purchased that car for, what was it, $400?
$450.
$450. Yeah, basically you bought a new set of tires.
And it was.
They just threw a car in on top of those.
So anyway, if you'd like to learn more about that, if you'd like to see the car, any of that, sunnyradio.com. Dan, what you got for us today?
Hey, huge shout out to Veterans Day today.
yeah.
Yes.
Huge, big deal, man. Thanks each and every darn single one of you, including special shout out to my son Luke.
That is awesome, yeah.
Who served 10th Group Special Forces Army Airborne, 2008 to 2011. Fantastic. What's going on here? Well, let's talk about that. A couple birthdays. Leonardo DiCaprio's 47 today.
47?
Yeah, watched again over the weekend, tripped over The Quick and the Dead. And he was just a kid.
He was just a youngster.
But I think that's my favorite thing I've ever seen him in. Great movie, except the ending. It was stupid. Demi Moore is 59 and a lot cooler when she was married to Bruce Willis.
True story.
Speaking of Veterans Day, General George S. Patton, born this day. Of course, commander of the 3rd U.S. Army and the 7th U.S. Army, World War II.
And one hell of a model American.
He wasn't playing he just was not messing. And in fact, I dug into it a little bit. As far as I can tell, he never once attended one sensitivity training course.
I can promise you he did not.
And didn't know how to spell diversity.
Wow. He'd be canceled today.
It was 1918, this day, World War I armistice signed by Allies and Germany. In fact, the hostilities came to an end at 11 a.m. And now maybe you've heard the quote. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
Yeah.
That is why we do that.
And 1 year later, in 1919, the first celebration, Veterans Day, originally called Armistice Day.
Yeah. But nobody could spell that.
To celebrate the first anniversary of the end of World War I, of course. 1938 became a national holiday, and it wasn't until 1954 then President Eisenhower signed legislation changing the name to Veterans Day.
Nice. I like that.
Now
Nice
you
and
know.
clean.
Be just
Nice and
a few years later, this day in 1921, President Warren G. Harding dedicates Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington Cemetery. Then in 1923, the Eternal Flame is lit. So, how's that?
That's cool.
Beautiful.
We have our own national cemetery here now. It's out on the edge of town.
Oh, that is something.
Beautiful place.
'Cause I remember we were at the groundbreaking a few
Yeah.
years ago, and it was really just a big,
Mud
muddy
pond.
It was a
cornfield.
little chilly.
Trying to picture it in my head when we were out there that day, I'm going,
What are they
It was
doing?
a little chilly, and Dan was such a kind man. He went over to our governor and said, "Hey, do you want my coat?"
I did. And then I gave her my car and my credit card. As I am. I've
a
said
good
it
guy.
before. I'll say it again. Our governor is saucy.
He has said that before, and he will say it again, even when we tell him to stop.
So there you go. I know, you know, we all know. We just bust a move here.
All right, we're going to do that. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris, brought to you in part by the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles promotion that you can find at sunnyradio.com.
In the past year, did you find yourself drinking more often? The stress of the last year had that effect on many people. If you're struggling to get back to normal and get the booze out of your daily routine, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to help you find the best option for you. There are many different programs. TimeForRehab.com will do our best to match you up with the program that will work best for your needs. Learn more at TimeForRehab.com. We want to help. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
And now stuff Dan finds interesting.
Yeah.
It is time for Stuff Dan Finds Interesting. And Dan, what do you find interesting on this? What is today? Thursday? Holy cow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Thursday, November 11th. It's I find this interesting and kind of ironic and somehow kind of laughable at the same time.
Oh, wow, what's that?
Recent poll, roughly 3/4 of adults strongly believe Facebook is making American society worse.
I would agree with that completely.
In fact, about 76% Facebook makes society worse, not better, according to that survey. About 13% surveyed said, doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah.
Now, about half of those surveyed say they know someone personally who actually believes in a conspiracy theory they saw on Facebook. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, well, I guess.
A conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Because you look at conspiracy theories and then maybe sometime later you find out, well, that was totally true.
That was true.
So
yeah. So then what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are
It's a
you
theory
to
based
say?
on what? What the fact checkers
Yeah,
tell you?
exactly. If the fact checkers say it's fake, I wouldn't necessarily go by that.
It's kind of weird, but what is funny to me is I have seen friends over the past little while actually make posts about how Facebook is so evil and bad, but there they are every day.
Posting it on Facebook. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, 3/4 of adults in America think it's just a bad deal, but there they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There they
'Cause you got to
are.
see what everybody's doing.
This is what I had for dinner.
Yeah.
I remember, the days when Facebook was just basically how you doing, or maybe a kitten video. I was
Yeah.
down with
Right.
that.
I remember those days.
I was down with that. I found that interesting.
I do too.
I don't even know what that means, but
Well, and if you happen to be on Facebook and you're maybe wanting to expand your circle of friends, like the Sunny Radio page. We're always on there with all kinds of fun stuff. Facebook.com/Sunny Radio.
it's kind of weird. Out of those surveyed, almost over half, in fact, 53% think the federal government ought to do something and increase that regulation of Facebook.
No. Oh my gosh.
Because really, you think about it, no matter what the
Less
government,
government.
whatever the government touches, it just gets better and better and
Yeah.
better and better and better.
Never seen them fix anything really.
Good Lord,
It's usually-
bacon is up 40%. Someone kill me.
That's insane.
Can we get the government to step in?
14%. That's just bacon, which has nothing to do with Facebook.
No, it doesn't. I'm
Unless
just
you're
trying to
posting
figure
pictures of bacon, which I will look at. I
out-
won't.
build a bridge to that, Dan.
I
Come in.
won't comment, but I will look at your posts of bacon. So there
All
you
right,
go.
well, follow us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Sunny Radio, Facebook.com/Sioux Falls News, and right now, Facebook.com/Snowy Radio as well.
Because you just can't have too much.
No. I'm John with a fun comparison. Some puppies are purebred and they cost more. Others are more affordable. And then there are free puppies. Nobody really knows where they come from, but they're free. In the advertising world, it's like that too. There are some super expensive ways to advertise if you can afford it. And there are some free things you've probably tried, but those dogs rarely work. Radio is kind of like that middle puppy. Affordable, will snuggle with you, and hopefully not pee on the rug. Radio advertising. Super affordable, a great investment, and man's best friend. Try it and let BetterResultsAdvertising.com bring your message to life. Time now for your morning coffee break, brought to you by Kaladi's Bistro on the corner of 26th and Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Mr. Dan Ferris back in with some, is it good news? What do you have for us here? What is
Well,
this?
yeah, it's just kind of stuff that's going on. Of course, today is Veterans
It
Day.
is.
Yes.
Veterans Day, a big salute, man, to anybody who's ever served. It's a small percentage. Because when I was in high school, there was a draft going on. There was Vietnam going on. In fact, they were doing it by lottery. My older brother, Oogie, had his paperwork. And it was weird because guys in the neighborhood would just be gone one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Just be gone.
Yeah.
It was kind of strange. Then, of course, after Vietnam, I was in 1975, Richard Nixon pulled the plug on the draft. And it's been just volunteer ever since. So those who step up, they're not being forced to do that, man. They're
Right.
doing that
They're
on
doing
their
that
own.
for
Yeah.
out of love for country.
It's a big deal.
It is a big
A
deal.
little less than 1% of the American population signs up to serve.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty special, man. Thank them. Walk their cat, sing them a song, do something.
Walk their cat.
I don't know, John. It's a solid. They aren't going to walk their own
I'm
cat.
just saying, is that a phrase? Is that a thing?
No, man. It's something you can do.
All right. See how I'm going to do that.
As far as probably the big Veterans Day program fires up just a couple hours, actually.
Yeah.
It's going on. Annual event recognizing those who have served, sponsored by the Chamber's Military and Veterans Affairs Committee and other veterans organizations. Fires up at 10:30, South Dakota Military Heritage Alliance. Right over there on Russell. It is free and open to the
1600
public.
West Russell, yeah.
Yep, 10:30 this morning. Now, the 29th Annual Parade of Lights is coming up. The reason I bring that up now, because it's not until Friday, November 26th. It's the deadline, if you want to be on that, involved in that, is tomorrow.
Ooh. I think I already filled out. I'll reach out and ask.
I believe that is
I think I filled out
tomorrow.
the paperwork.
I remember when that thing first fired up. I was in, I want to say, maybe 5 or 6 of the first 10.
Okay.
Of those. I think my favorite one was, back in they don't allow it anymore, but you used to have horses in that parade.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a few of them, actually.
But they didn't like all the lights and the generators and stuff, I suppose.
Actually, it wasn't that so much as the mess. But I want to say my last year in it, me and, may he rest in peace, my brother Dan Christofferson, we were the very last entry in the parade. We're at the dead end of it. And wearing overalls and blinky lights all over us. We looked pretty good. And we had a big old garbage can and like a 2-wheel dolly and a couple shovels. And we cleaned up after the horse.
Oh.
That's nice.
That
theme.
was our job.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't think I have filled this out. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Dan.
Well, see?
The theme is rocking around the Christmas tree.
It is,
We're
yep.
not going to be doing
We're
that
not
theme.
going to really meet that theme.
No, it goes from Phillips 13th to 5th, fires up at 7:30. Get there early because you're going to want to park and everything else. And bring a little ching because people run around selling like hot chocolate and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's a neat thing.
Yeah, and again, deadline if you want to get something actually be in the parade is it is tomorrow, correct, John? Yep.
I think so. I already clicked on it, so I don't know when it needs to be turned
But
in.
good.
But I'm looking at this here.
All right.
That's good. Well, be registered now officially.
Yeah, November 12th. So
We don't have to try to crash the parade.
So yeah, we've done that before, by the way.
Oh, we'd get in it either way.
Have you ever done that, Dan? We got to a parade where we didn't sign up, and we're like, all right, did you guys sign up?
Just
We're
follow right along. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I want to say one of your former KSFY spokesperson, you knew her, you love her, Nancy Nave.
Oh, yeah.
I think, was she Grand Marshal? Was it Grand Marshal something?
Only 70 entries accepted, so we better hurry up on
She
that.
was something in that particular parade of lights and had, I want to say it was a big horse-driven carriage. It was pretty cool. And me, and again, Dan Christofferson, we ended up just talking our way on board. We had no business being there, but there we were.
We bought some lights for our beautiful vehicle last night, so we are set.
Can hardly wait. Now if we can just get it to run, we are in
We are
bed.
in the parade.
That's all
There may
I've
be
got.
somebody pushing us, but we will be there.
Well worth the price of admission, which is free.
This is going to be fun.
Hey,
I'm reading
well,
through the
thank you,
rules.
Dan.
We might have to change some things based on this. But-
Rules, schmools, let's just rock.
all right. Hey, thanks for listening. Oh, I got to have a sketch of the entry. I'm going to start working on that now. Dan, thank you very much, sir.
Hey, my pleasure.
If you'd like to get the details on that, dtsf.com is their website.
Many new students sign up for credit cards that are not very good. Have a conversation about how to properly use credit so they don't learn this lesson the hard way. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Want one that offers points? We have those. Want a card to help you build credit? We have those too. Bettercreditcards.com is designed to help you get a better credit card. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a bright spot of news brought to you by Paul's Designer Showroom on Lake Lorraine in Sioux Falls. They can brighten any room with a beautiful light fixture, and we are going to brighten your day right now with some positive news. Usually we take this time to talk about something local, and we talk to somebody local, but I'm actually talking to somebody that's nationally known, actually known all around the world, JockoWillink. He's a retired U.S. Navy SEAL. He's a #1 New York Times bestselling author. He's got a whole pile of books out. Most of those books, by the way, are nonfiction books. So they're books about his experience in the military. And I thought on Veterans Day, this would be a great day to visit with Jocko. We actually had him on our national program yesterday, and he agreed to chat with me again today for the local program here. And again, like I said, he is a U.S. Navy SEAL. He's got all these books that are really cool books. He's also got some kids' books, Way of the Warrior series, children's books. But he's got a brand new one out that is not really a veteran-themed book. It is called Final Spin, and we're going to chat about that today. Mr. JockoWillink, how are you, sir?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
We're excited to have you back on the program. Now, you've got a bunch of books. Most of them are nonfiction books. This is your first novel. What was it like making that transition to nonfiction?
Well, even the books that I've written that are nonfiction are filled with stories, and I think stories are a great way to convey information. And so I had a bunch of characters in my head, and I had a story to tell and some lessons to teach, and I decided this would be a interesting way to do it.
And again, we appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today on Veterans Day. A lot of the books that you have a lot to do with your time in the military, leadership skills. Now, this new book, again, it's a novel, so it's a little different situation. But are we going to see any of that come through in the new novel, Final Spin?
No, there's actually no military in this book whatsoever. This book is about a couple brothers. One of the brothers, the older brother, who's about 30 years old, he has some mental challenges in his capacity, but he is obsessed with laundry. He loves laundry. He works in a laundromat. He loves cleaning clothes and ironing clothes. That's just what he's obsessed with. His younger brother is a very charismatic guy, handsome guy, funny guy, but he's made some bad choices in his life, and he has ended up working as a stock boy at a big box store at the age of 23. And he's sitting there and realizes that the laundromat where his older brother works is going to be sold. And he's afraid that if the laundromat gets sold and his older brother doesn't have anywhere to work, he's never going to be happy. And so the younger brother decides he wants to be able to preserve his older brother's happiness. So he decides he's going to buy the laundromat. But the only way he can figure out to get the money to buy the laundromat is to steal it. And so he comes up with a plan with his best friend to rip off the store where they work. And unfortunately, things don't always go to plan. But that's the basis of the story.
In this book, there are a bunch of different characters, some that you've talked about here, and I'm sure there's some that we haven't talked about in the interview. Are these based on real people, or do you just kind of make up the characters? Where does that come from?
They're all rooted in people that I've known, and there's a little sprinkling of me in some of these characters. But, for example, the mentally challenged older brother, he's actually based on a character or on a person that I knew when I worked at Wendy's as a teenager. The person that ran the salad bar was probably a 55-year-old woman who had some mental challenges, but she absolutely loved running that salad bar. And she kept the croutons topped off. She kept the onions sliced up. She kept the salad dressing off the counter, and she loved it. And I realized that this woman she was a lot happier than I was, and it seemed that she was actually happier than most people I knew. And so I kept that character in my head and developed that into one of the lead characters in this story.
Again, the new book is out right now. It's Final Spin. In addition to that, he's got a bunch of other books, and you've got a line of children's books. In total, Jocko, how many books do you have out now? Do you know?
I think this book right here is number 10. 5 adult books and 5 children's books.
That is fantastic. We're going to throw a link to make it easy to find those. Jocko, thank you for taking the time to chat with us here on Veterans Day, and also thank you so much for your service.
It was an honor to serve, John, and I'd do it all again if I could.
The book is called Final Spin. It's out right now. We've got a link to it. Jocko, once again, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening on this Veterans Day. I've got a link to Jocko's new book on our Facebook page, facebook.com/sunnyradio and facebook.com/Sioux Falls News.
Merry Christmas! Oh, you're not ready for that yet. How about Happy Halloween? At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all of the fun holidays throughout the year with funny, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we have a gift idea for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day, whether you buy these weird gifts or not. It's worth checking out, just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Time now for the newsiest news that we do. It is News with Dan Ferris.
Oh, boy, burning the midnight oil, wearing out shoelaces, slapping on desk man and answers. Let's go back to my hometown, ladies and gentlemen, Dateline, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Holy cow, a woman is in the clink.
Ooh, what for?
She went on quite a tear. Well, criminal complaint states that a trooper began following Jean Hansen's vehicle Saturday night. She was driving erratically near Concordia and Schnelling Avenues in St. Paul.
Okay.
Hansen stopped in a closed traffic lane, exited her vehicle, and approached the trooper's squad car.
Okay.
She said, "Hey, officer, trying to find my way out of here," told the trooper. And she whipped out what appeared to be a gun. It was actually tinfoil with duct tape wrapped around it.
Okay.
The officer said, "Hey, lady, I'm going to have to ask you to step in the car." She said, "Yeah, I don't think so there, John." Law jumped into her vehicle, took off again.
Oh.
Quick pursuit entailed. She pulled over.
Why'd she do any of this?
Climbed onto a fence overlooking I-94.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
This guy thinks she's got a real gun, but now at this point, she also has a bottle of tequila in her other hand.
Oh, my God.
And she ain't happy about the whole darn thing. The car was later found nearby when Hansen was found hanging on the fence over the Pascal Street Bridge in 1994, drinking from a bottle with her silver gun in her other hand, which again turned out to be duct tape and tinfoil. Jean has been charged with threats of violence, fleeing a peace officer, 2 counts of DWI. Was also later found she had ingested 6 pills of, hang on here.
No real shock.
This really isn't funny. She had down at least half a dozen diazepam pills, which she did have a prescription for. So she was lit pretty good. Here's the thing. Jean, baby Jean the Machine Hansen, she's 70 years old.
Oh my gosh, I did not see that coming.
Oh, I was not ready for that.
And really, incarceration, smarceration, you should throw her a parade is what you ought to do. I think with that kind of attitude, Minnesota Vikings could probably use her on defense. Speaking of Viking sports, who's up for some?
I'm ready for sports.
Brought to you by Bert and the team over at Hockey Headquarters, Sanford Sports Complex. Everything hockey, new and used, and figure skating too. Little NBA action. We don't talk a lot of hoops. And I think we should.
We should.
They're getting going. Season's rolling pretty good. A little last night action. Some great matchups, including the Wizards and Cavaliers, the Bucks and the Knicks. Raptors and Celtics, anybody? How about the Pistons and Rockets? Ha! They both stink on ice. Let's check the scoreboard, shall we? 114 to 108, 102 to 97, 110 to 107. In this blowout, 101 to 73.
Woo!
From the sunny 93.3 News Desk, I'm Dan Ferris, reminding you. It's news to me. Thanks for watching. Gosh darn it, good night, everybody.
In the past year, did you find yourself drinking more often? The stress of the last year had that effect on many people. If you're struggling to get back to normal and get the booze out of your daily routine, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to help you find the best option for you. There are many different programs. TimeForRehab.com will do our best to match you up with the program that will work best for your needs. Learn more at TimeForRehab.com. We want to help. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, November 11th, 2021. Equities pulled back on Wednesday following hotter than expected CPI data. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average shed less than 1% each at the low of the day and were led by a much bigger decline in the NASDAQ Composite. The CPI, or Consumer Price Index, jumped 0.9% over the last month, 0.3% hotter than expected, driving the year-over-year increase to 6.2%. And that's a faster year-over-year pace than we've had in over 3 decades. At this pace, and without definitive FOMC action, consumers can expect to pay significantly more for products of all varieties over the next 12 months. With the earnings season largely wrapped up and the CPI data out, the next big hurdle for the market will be next week's retail sales data. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.